Hello, this video will be purchase order overview, and here we will check the header level of the purchase order, what's in it, and maybe we'll just see what document overview is. So let's see, I have several documents here open. One of them is ZRM, the one from the my shop. Then I have also a stock transfer document and a framework order. So I have there three different types of purchase orders, which we have. I don't have NB open, but actually, I guess it's similar to their YB or so ZB, which we have here. So let's see. Their header level may be minimized and so as any other or expanded. So it gives you information which is applied to all the line items in this document. Above it, you actually see the PO number and created by. So the person who created it stays on top. If it's pulled on hold, actually it will tell you that it's held PO. So because yes, POs may also be held as well as PRs. So here, pay attention if it says held here, because you may create PO with using hold, and this will be, I'd say, a draft of PO which doesn't have any workflows or you cannot post any documents on it like GR or ER, and it will be like not a valid PO. So then on the top it gives you the PO type, its number, the vendor, and the document date. And then there are tabs which have information in them. The first one is called delivery invoice, and takes most of information in it is taken from their business partner. So here you see the payment terms, which will be used to pay, the currency, the exchange rates, and then so the explanation of this payment terms. All this is taken from their business partner. So the currency was there, and it's applied, as I said, to the whole document. So this would be the main currency of the document. And so it will be populated automatically here. So, and all the postings will be done in this currency. If this actually may be changed in the PO header, but well, it's better to change it in the master data of BP if it is incorrect, so that all other purchase orders which will be created for this vendor afterwards are created correctly. The next tab is conditions, which is a summary of all the prices of all the lines. This is not interesting because, well, it's a summary. If you want to see their specific price, you better check it on the item level. So on the item level, you have conditions. And here on the top in the header, you have just a sum up of all the lines. Here we have just one. Let's see. Okay, for example, in this document, we have 6 lines. Each of them has its conditions. And then also we have conditions in the header. I said conditions. So, and see, here it gives you like the full price of it. It's like the full sum of every line. So how much is it? Actually not very helpful, maybe for updating the price in the whole document, but this will be covered in pricing. Then this is conditions. So only the prices here. Texts. Okay, any document, any master data in SAP has texts. So here I may see that only one text is maintained, which is email address. It comes from their business partner text, email address. Let me just check it. So let's see. This one is for, where is the organizational data? For TWO2. If we go to the vendor master data, and if we go to purchasing, and if we actually see already the information, go to texts, we see that they have their PO mailing address maintained. Can we display text? Did I press it? No? Mm -hmm. It's thinking, sorry. Okay, allow. Now you will see, no, you won't. Okay, for some reason it doesn't show me anything. But it's for this push notification. Actually, it should come from here. But sorry, the trick didn't work. But still, maybe it's because it's an old one, and the text is no longer there. This is a document from the last year. But the text normally here, oh, I'm sorry, here GTI address. So here you might actually see not only GTI addresses, you may see here addresses from this vendor. Yeah, so these you will not see those normally in their business partner record. Would there be any other email addresses from the vendor? You should have maintained them in the vendor master data in the field which I just shown. So I went to the vendor, went to purchasing, went to the text, and there you may put email address, and then it will be added in the header, and afterwards may be used in their outputs. Well, this one doesn't use them. To automatically send those notifications to the vendor. Okay, but this one doesn't use, so that's why they don't even have an output which sends those. That's why they do not use addresses. But so there might be other texts here maintained which will be used in different types of outputs and be printed later on somewhere in the outputs, in the messages. So here there is only ZNE5, and so almost no text. Address. Well, this address is taken from the definitely vendor master data, saying like who provides us the services. Under communication, we have language, which is again taken from the vendor master data and its phone number. Actually, we also have a salesperson, which could be maintained in the business partner functions of the business partner. Here on the added info, you might see the PO light tick. There will be a separate video on PO light explaining what it is. But in any case, if PO falls under the let's say definition of PO light, it will have the stick. Maybe this one doesn't because it's pretty old. The new ones, starting with 2021, they receive the stick automatically whenever they fall under PO light strategy. They do not require PPO approval, global indirect procurement approval. Partner functions taken from the vendor, but for purchasing, this is not very useful. On the additional data, there is nothing interesting here, but if we have a look at our framework order and go to additional data, you see the difference. So here we have the validity dates of the framework order. This is the peculiarity of framework order, that it has validity dates. It says that this document is valid from the 1st of January 16 up to the December of 2020. So it's an old document. So it was valid for actually 4 years. 5 years. So it was for 5 years. This is office rent, you see? And they added different lines for different periods of time. This was office in Perm. So, and you see who was the person who rented them this flat or office. And here there is some quantity and some price. Okay. this is the difference in additional data of framework order. In additional data in framework order, you see the validity dates. In the regular documents, you see, okay, nothing. On the organizational data, you always see purchasing organization, purchasing group, and the company code. Very useful whenever you want to see on which levels the data is maintained for this document. You may just check here and understand how it goes. Status. Status is good. It gives us the information, how much was ordered, for which quantity the goods receipts were posted, for which quantity we still need to post goods receipts, and for which quantity the invoice receipts were posted. Normally, we should have exactly the same number in all of those to say that this document is completed. As you might know, any material document deals with quantity. Actually, it doesn't care which price was used, whether it was good or not. So the document is considered to be closed whenever you order some amount of goods, you receive this amount of goods, and you pay for amount of goods. It doesn't say how much. Well, it does say how much, but for the document itself, this is relevant. So here we may have different numbers, but these should be the same. So for their material documents, quantity is their queen of hearts. So this is status. And also it says whether it was printed or not, fully delivered, fully invoiced. But it just tells here the same here. On the payment processing, you might see down payment being set here. So if down payment is needed, so then it will be set here saying mandatory down payment or voluntary down payment. And then if you set this, I will not be able to because I guess I'm in production. Yep, I'm in production. If DP category is set for anything but there are no down payment, then it will be a subject for approval, first of all, with block 20. And another peculiarity of their POs with down payment, they may be created only manually. There are many ways to create their POs automatically. So if you need down payment, you need to set this drop down list manually during creation. So those automatic programs do not do that. That's why whenever you need a PO with down payment, you ought to indicate it in their PR somehow and make it unavailable for automatic transactions. Maybe you need to set it. There is actually a tick which says down payment, and if you tick it in PR, then PO will not be created automatically, and so PPO or GBS, Global Indirect Procurement, will need to create those manually, setting this DP category. Incoterms, as well as most of the information here, comes from vendor. From vendor master data, here it's NA. As you may understand, header is applied to the whole document, to all the lines in the document. So that is why most of the information comes from vendor. So this is our deal with this vendor. And so the details of the deal are the same for all the lines. In line item, you may have differences because this might be different materials. And so most of the information will come from material master data. In case of maybe some NB or ZB or UB documents, you have material, and lots of information will come from the material master data. So here, this one is ZS for free text, so you don't have material number. So, but in here, in line item, you will see mostly information from the material master data. In header, you'll see information mostly from the vendor. And as you see, as a stock transfer intercompany, the vendor is another plant of GTI. So actually here materials go from GRP1 from Greece to LU01 Lithuania, Luxembourg. What is it? Netherlands. All right. Actually, Luxembourg. It should be Luxembourg. But the office is in the Netherlands. Okay, so this is it. So this is what we have in the document header. So what tabs we have, what's interesting is there. Please remember, maybe in this communication thing, language. In many cases, it's important for printing their documents in messages. Okay, here is nothing is printed out, but in case something is printed, it normally should be the text should normally be maintained in the language of the document. Otherwise, they might not work in some cases, but it depends on the setup and on the text itself. So I guess this is it for PO header. Let me stop the recording.